All right, so I just want to document really quick what I'm doing here next. This is something that I'm going to submit to the district attorney's office, the DA's office, at my local magistrate here tomorrow. So this is against Gino, Melissa, and Dr. Sahud, Sahud. And Dr. Sahud practices, one of the places she practices is here at the East Suburban Pediatrics in Murraysville. And this building here, just right here is their office, and right here in the front there is their doctor's, my kid's doctor's office, where they attended for years and years. And it was also my family doctor and Gina's family doctor. And just actually like a month or two ago, he did move from this location, but he does have 2 other locations still. So my report is going something like this. I am making a criminal complaint against Eugene Jaswali, Melissa Nagel, and Dr. Hannah Sahud for attempted murder and medical abuse of mine and Eugene's 3 children, Christian, 14, Caleb, 11, and Gianna, 10. Our 3 children are medically and religiously exempt from vaccines. Our son Caleb almost died, had life-threatening complications and seizures for years from his vaccines. We decided to stop vaccinating our children, obviously, and obtained medical exemptions for our children from their eyes and Eugene's family doctor in Murraysville. They need these exemptions to attend to school unvaccinated, which my children all attended Franklin Regional with their vaccine exemptions. My oldest since 3rd grade when he started public school after homeschooling, and my youngest 2 have been attending since kindergarten, and they are now in 4th and 5th and 8th grades. Eugene knows the serious dangers that these vaccines could cause our children, including death, as he knows what our son went through and even performed CPR on our son after vaccines. I need to add a little bit more information about Caleb's trauma from his vaccines, but we are now in a litigious custody battle for 2 years and divorce battle for 3 years. During this time, Eugene decided to take our children to a new family doctor upstairs from the one they have been going to for years. My daughter told me her dad told the doctor no shots for my kids. However, he signed a paper for his girlfriend/bigamist wife, Melissa Nagel, to be able to make medical decisions. She then took all 3 of my children and had them fully vaccinated. This terrified and traumatized my children, as they know this is something that could harm them and almost killed Caleb. They lied to my children saying they lied to my children saying their doctor was now closed. This is medical abuse. An attempted murder of my son. Dr. Sahud should have common sense to see that my children at their ages have never received many vaccines to almost none. Seeing this woman who is not their mother vaccinating them after father told them not to is not only unethical, but also medical abuse and attempted murder. I have been trying to do something about this in custody court, but there is no help there, so I am now appealing in Supreme Court. Melissa Nagel is also guilty of posing as posing as my children's mother and taking them to doctors, eye doctors, dentists, and therapists, and having other unnecessary medical treatments done and threatened to be done to my children. I don't know all of the reactions my kids may have or may not have had from being fully vaccinated, as Eugene is fighting to keep them from me and threatens the kids not to tell me anything, and has monitored and listened to all phone calls since my children reported this crime to me. I'm aware of deteriorating health issues, skin issues, possible eye issues since vaccinated. They now have glasses they did not need before. Glasses came shortly after the vaccines for my oldest and youngest. My youngest, the only one wearing hers still. Negative health effects can last for years and come out of the blue years later from vaccines, and especially the medically vulnerable receiving them. All right. So, let me just show you who this Dr. Hannah is. This is her. This is what she looks like. And I will also just show you this email that I sent to Adam and Eric a year ago. And it just says, "Hi, Eric," and I copied Adam. "I just want to make sure you had copies of my 3 children's medical and religious vaccine exemptions. They are attached. This way you have them for your records. The paramour vaccinating my children is illegal and could have killed my son or caused severe injury, as he almost died and suffered severe seizures for years from his vaccines. Gino knows all about this, and he lived through this with us too. This is abuse," which I am going to print this off and include this in my report. "This is abuse. My youngest 2 have had very little to no vaccinations and are exempt. They have now had their immune systems assaulted by the paramour and Eugene by assaulting them with countless vaccines at once. This is an outrage and not legal. The paramour is not to take my children to doctor's appointments or make medical decisions. Eugene is obviously not capable of making sound medical decisions for our children, as again, this is abuse, because he knows this is something that will upset me once again, in turn harming my children. Also, being a bigamist is illegal in 50 states. I have written proof on the wizard and through text message that these 2, Eugene and Melissa Nagel, have been married by the same church and same pastor who married Gino and I. This is absurd and a crime, because it is. It has caused anguish to my children, who are forced to participate in a wedding ceremony while their parents are still married. I can sue for this or possibly press charges if I care to do so. Please ask Eugene to keep these things in mind when considering my divorce settlement. And to serve as a reminder, I'm still asking for 50-50 custody, which I'm asking for full, but I'm just willing to settle, as this ongoing situation is not in my best interest of my children and is actually extremely detrimental to them. Please keep in mind and let's get these things settled amicably right away." Come here, biscuit. Shh. "Please keep in mind and let's get these things settled amicably right away." Thank you, Eric. Okay. So, and then these are my kids' exemptions. And this is just, a start. So I will get this taken care of and submitted tomorrow and work on the other things I have to do and consider getting an attorney, as well as work on my things for my appeal, and possibly an attorney to sue for these vaccines.